Hi, I'm Tracy Nwonyimi, co-founder and project manager of Alarive Inc. And I'm here today with Dr. Alice Edwards, founder of the CEO Within, talk about the mobile app that we are building for our company, ADHDOutloud. Dr. Alice, can you tell me a little bit about why you wanted to, or you decided to create this mobile app?
Sure. Thank you, Tracy. I decided to build or get help in building ADHD Out Loud as a mobile app because of the work I've been doing around ADHD and helping neurodiverse people for some years. So I've been a consultant with my company, the CEO Within, helping leaders and doing coaching with different people with focus on helping with strategy and performance and improving human well-being and thriving and stuff for some time. But I started focusing on looking at the problems related to ADHD several years back because my children and myself were diagnosed. And so it obviously got me curious about that and started me doing some more studies and research in ADHD and helping people with neurodiverse conditions. And when I started working on that, it just became clear to me that there's so much more help that's needed than is provided, especially with ADHD compared to autism, for example, because there's a lot of organizations that provide some support and things for autism. I've partnered with or gone up to at least attend the Microsoft's convention, and they've done some programs to help show that people with autism, can be effective in the workplace. But people with ADHD, even though all the papers and studies say that people with ADHD struggle, there's really not a lot of advocacy work or work to try and help people with ADHD, other than individual coaches and things like myself. So I wanted to try and see what can be done, since I love working on tech and building tech also, to make it more scalable and more accessible to help more people. And I started about a year ago or so, maybe a year and a half ago, I'm not sure, working on trying to build a group around that. And I just came up with the name ADHD Out Loud because I felt like there's too much stigma and problems around ADHD and people don't feel like they can talk about it. And other than maybe talking about medication, that's pretty much the only thing that people seem to talk about it. So there's a few people now talking about some of the superpowers, but it's still kind of new or newer. And then the work I was doing, we started doing an online group, and I tried to lead a group where I would do online calls and help, answer questions and things once a month. But, I realized, that there's not enough I can do with me just as one person doing a group online once a month. But that really, since one of the types of help that I like and I'm passionate about is what's called peer support, where people help each other, is super helpful. That we needed more peer support kind of helpers for ADHD as a way to help make it more accessible and affordable and get people to get more help. So that's the primary driver behind wanting to build the app, is wanting to try and help provide especially a cheaper, more easily accessible solution than paying for coaches or life consultants like myself to everybody who's involved in ADHD, whether they're someone who has ADHD or a family member who's struggling with someone with ADHD, or they're a boss or a coworker trying to get along with or work with somebody with ADHD. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this platform, is to kind of connect those people and also the other professionals. So over time, I want to vet companies, but over time, hopefully, I can also include in there a resource, directory and things of people who are really, good at working with people who are neurodiverse and struggle with ADHD, because it can otherwise be such a challenge emotionally to try and go to different coaches and counselors and, just keep cycling through them because none of them get you. And that's one of the things that people who have ADHD or a neurodiverse condition, when they come and they work with me, they really feel, or at least they convey to me, that they really feel like finally somebody gets them. And I guess there's just not a lot of therapists who kind of had that area of specialty. And so hopefully in this app, I'll also be able to long-term find more of those people who are like me in that area, because obviously I can't help everybody, and not everyone can afford me, or maybe they even need other languages or things that I can't do, and be able to connect people to people other than me who are specialists and can offer therapy or other types of well-being supports for people with ADHD through the app also.
That's really wonderful, Dr. Alice. Thank you so much for sharing. Can you talk about the features you asked us to build for you here at Alarive? I want you to be able to tell our viewers how you hope that the users will be able to use these features within the app.
Sure. So the app, I use the term ADHD explorers because I want everyone in the app to kind of be like a tribe of explorers where they're seeking to explore and understand ADHD. So like, it's a judgment-free zone. We're working still, I know, on building our like community engagement protocols that we're going to have in terms of like, what we want people to agree to as part of the community, based on what I loosely wrote up when we were working on it with the other online group that we were doing for a while. But in the app, so one example will be like, we have a connection feature that we built where people can socialize and just ask questions or share information about what's going on in the ADHD community, make new friends. And if you're like a professional or, have some service, maybe you have someone with ADHD and you're a gig worker in some area. And so you want to like network or share, hey, if you want to support people with ADHD, help me out. Or maybe you are a professional, want to work with it. You'll be able to make bios and like put a little information about yourself in the bio if you want in the connect, and people can like and follow you. Just like similar to how you could on like other social media platforms, but this is a platform specific to ADHD. And if you're like in the closet still about having ADHD or don't really want it publicized on somewhere like Facebook that you're struggling with this, on our platform, each user, we do have an email that we have to see your email because we need to make sure that we have real people and it's not like just spammers or whatever. But you could always, if you wanted to be fully 100% anonymous, you could just use an alternative name for yourself, and you could set up a different email than the email that is used for like your work or personal, so that don't use an email that's my name dot whatever at Gmail, because that would not be very anonymous. If anonymity is a concern. So people can use the platform anonymously if they just take a couple extra steps like that, to be able to talk and ask questions that maybe they wouldn't feel so comfortable on like an online social media platform where they might think that workers or bosses might, be checking them out or whatever. And then also we set up several forums based on the information that I gathered over the time I was doing the online support group. We got feedback that there were some key areas that people really are struggling for information. And so at this point in time, we've made 4 different like advice group forums where people can post specific questions and then get advice. And then it's those are all searchable forums where you can try and search for answers that people have already posted and questions like that. So the 4 areas we currently have right now are ADHD at work, youth and ADHD. So like, parent and kids and how they struggle with that. And then adult ADHD, especially, people who are struggling with dealing with adult ADHD as an adult, or who got diagnosed as an adult, and the challenges that they deal with particularly, and then ADHD in relationships. So and a lot of people, they struggle with ADHD and like romantic relationships or other types of relationships, social relationships, just even being social and some of the struggles with that. And so I made that forum to be able to help kind of discuss that kind of thing long term. And then events. So there's also like an event section where for now it just has the events that we at the CEO Within are planning on doing in terms of like informational things related to ADHD, so that people who want to learn more about ADHD or who have those questions, I'll be able to do some more kind of Q&A, like top level sessions to answer some of those questions. And so people will be able to go to the events section and see what those events are and join them from the ADHD platform. Oh, and by the way, all this is free. So probably eventually I'll have to make it ad supported or something, but at the moment, the whole platform's free. And so that's going to all be available to anybody to be able to log in and join the app. And then there's a news section as I find other cool websites or groups that are sharing information about ADHD. I'm not all about like, it all has to be like all my stuff. Like there's a huge, community, and it's just kind of like low key, and I want to help it make it less low key. So I'm trying to help share links to third party sites that do have information or other information about ADHD that I don't have, so that people can access those other resources and connect to those other resources. And then we also have a, like we call it like Get Help, but basically it's like a resource database that we're starting to grow very slowly. So right now it's kind of small, but that's because I want to vet all the resources that we post there. So they're not just like cheesy ones, or the ones that I know have some ability to help people with ADHD, and some of the related issues that you might struggle with when you have ADHD, like, if you're struggling with anxiety or depression, because it's not, being managed well, or because, you had a breakup and, you're feeling disheartened or whatever. So trying to grow that network, and, I'll add providers in there as soon as I kind of build them. Though we will be charging other providers to join the network because it takes time to vet them and stuff. And I'll get somebody to help with that eventually. But yeah, so that's kind of like the current features, and I have more ideas for other features. But being as we work in tech and stuff, we're kind of out following what's called agile, where we're just going to build it as people tell us. So we'll build more features and stuff as people kind of tell us what they need, and we kind of prioritize building out the things that people want.
Awesome. So within the app, we have the connect page, the advice page, the events page, the news, and the get help. Dr. Alice, has been a pleasure working with you. Thank you so much. It's been very awesome working with you to build this app. As you know, we are currently anticipating the launch on April 1st. In advance to our official launch, we want people to sign up and stay tuned. And if you want to get more information, please visit www.adhdoutloud.com. To those of you watching this video, we hope you're as excited as we are trying to build this beautiful, wonderful app. Thank you so much.